I've been given the opportunity to read Bloody Hell Volume 3, and I gotta say, it leaves a very amazing impression. The author of this series is really coming into his own, and that makes it worth checking out. Immediately upon reading this, what stood out was the character writing and the pacing, which is a really strong foundation that a lot of independent authors do not have. And the creator of Bloody Hell shows how much experience he has under his belt. And don't get me wrong, I'm very unbiased and harsh at times, but something about this volume was special. The writing leaves a very powerful impression. There were a lot of key moments here, and I definitely want to break them down. So to pick off from where Volume 1 and 2 started, Alex and Jacob encounter a new enemy, whose presence alone leaves their lives in the palms of his hands. And this villain showed many numerous perspectives when it comes to the story, because his words fuel Alex with rage beyond measure. He tells Alex that his father would have been killed, and at the hands of a child no less. So this takes Alex on the path to revenge, just like the main character, Jacob, which is a very interesting parallel, which shows a lot of deep writing being taken into consideration here. It's definitely intriguing because this rage causes Alex to not even care about this scary opponent that was just right in front of him, about to take his life. He immediately seeks out the man who supposedly killed his father. Now, whether or not the words of this villain are a lie or not is something that I want to see really unfold. But I can't stress enough how much I enjoyed the character writing, because in the moment where Alex leaves to get his own revenge, Jacob tries to tell him not to. Yet Alex would call Jacob out for doing that because, as we know, he's living his life for revenge to kill Dracula, making me wonder what kind of revenge is good and what revenge is bad. Jacob wants to stop Alex because the person that he's trying to kill can save the world. Now, if in a turn of events, Dracula turns out to be someone who's going to save the world, even though it's definitely not the case, I gotta bring up hypotheticals, would Jacob give up his own revenge? You see, this layer of selfishness and character development is solid and enticing because I get to think about it like this after reading. This revenge story is a breath of fresh air because it is very unpredictable. Usually we're thrown in and the protagonist already decides what he's going to do and solely focuses on killing someone or something. Here's what's amazing though, because this character is always thinking, learning, and might just possibly change his mind for revenge as a whole. It boils down to caring and not caring. You kill a person out of revenge because they took someone that you cared about. Yet if you do nothing, you don't care. You may convince yourself that you don't care about the lives that were lost, but in reality, it shows that you don't care about your own life, forcing us to recognize what exactly are we living for? The people around us or our own ambitions? And this is what Jacob struggles with. And seeing his mental turmoils in this volume couldn't be more refreshing, battling with the idea of accepting everything as it is or rejecting it and pushing through to ease his own pain and trauma. There are a lot of things here that you definitely have to pay close attention to. Before I start getting into more about Jacob and this amazing battle in this manga, I have to take a little bit of a detour and focus on a moment that I really did like, where the king, otherwise known as the Child of Prophecy, Arthur, approaches children that are bullying another kid. When stopping their abuse, he would say that they are committing vampire-like oppression. The kid gets mad that he's compared to a vampire because vampires killed his own family, so he punches Arthur in the face, and then Arthur takes off this child's entire head, which made my jaw drop. But of course, what would a king be if he would kill his own subjects, let alone children? After being murdered, this kid gets brought back to life. I had to bring more attention to the writing. Really, Arthur's comparison between these children and vampires, I can't lie, I can't use any other word to describe this, but it was genius. Honestly, I don't want to overhype this or give it too much credit. I'm being as honest as possible, yet this is exactly what it is. Vampires are evil, drink blood, and feed on the terror and misery of the beings around them. And here, even though a kid is just getting bullied, which may not seem like much, they're doing the same exact thing that vampires do. We know this for a fact because when Irene fights her sister later in this volume, she explains what vampires fight for. They like cruelty, tears, blood, death, despair, and just horrible things. Why am I telling you this? Because this is my proof, so you know what I'm saying is not bullshit. Arthur says that these children are enjoying making this boy cry, and Irene's sister says that vampires love making people cry. Yet this shows us how deep Arthur's character actually is. You think his initial reaction by killing this kid is extreme, but Arthur is a king and a child that killed all 5 of the vampire legions, meaning he spent a majority of his life killing vampires. Now, if he sees kids that are acting just like vampires, what do you think he's going to do? He does what he always has: kill vampires. Yet this time he killed a kid instead. It's astounding because it shows us how much the vampires in this story affect the characters and its world. And the cherry on top here, the bully mentions that his father died from being murdered by vampires, and the same kid that he was bullying actually had his father die. So the bully here was beating down on a kid that is just like him. Without a doubt, the vampires have affected everyone's lives, even the life of a prodigal king. Getting back to Jacob, I really do like the layers that are being set up throughout all of the fights. Something as simple as talking shit to your enemies goes a long way in Bloody Hell because it breaks down a victim's psychological state. This is great because the creator of Bloody Hell gives shit talk in of itself a whole new meaning. Rather than just making characters simply come off cool, vampires taunting their enemies becomes a part of the power system. Rather than just having Jacob just swing his sword and kill everything, there is another layer that makes fights deeper than what they normally are because the main character has the fruit of boldness. This plays a huge role in the fight that happens in this volume because, as we see, Alex falls into rage over listening to this villain's words, and he becomes terrified by his presence, while Jacob does not lose his focus at all. It's crazy because these vampires are really on another level compared to humans, not only physically, but mentally. Rather than just being like Jujutsu Kaisen and just giving a character a new overpowered ability of the week, conversations and exchanges in dialogue have a new meaning, which I have not seen before. And there is still a lot that is done with Jacob's character here. Dracula begins to possess and take over our new villain's body, making it his vessel. And for a moment, Jacob is forced to face not only his inner demons, but his greatest enemy. And he is far from ready. Honestly, I thought Bloody Hell was going to do something that I see typical shonen do. They fight this enemy, and then they beat them in one big ass attack. We've seen this in Togenanki recently. Or if you're an unk like me, you would know, like in Inuyasha, he usually kills an enemy in one swing, which can be very underwhelming, but this wasn't the case when it came to this volume. When Jacob uses Bloody Hurricane, the fight is nowhere near done. And with Dracula still wanting to kill Jacob, Jacob shows some false confidence, and what's great about this, we see how he's actually feeling, telling Dracula that he's going to cut him down and actually do it for real, yet in his mind, he's doubting himself. It's refreshing. It's actually really refreshing seeing what a character is actually thinking. Not a single corner was cut here, and it definitely shows. This entire volume was actually inspiring, and it was amazing seeing this character push through against all of the odds and find a path towards the light, only for Dracula to play a hand in all of this by planting the abyss seed inside of Jacob's body, which makes him more inclined to tap into his vampire blood, making this character coast from the light and the darkness. Now, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil this volume. You all definitely have to read it for yourselves. Links to it will be in the description and as a pinned comment below. But the end of the fight between Irene and Charlotte definitely had me in anticipation for the next volume. I will mention one more thing in this volume that made this story way more interesting. It's the fact that Dracula can control and possess any human that has become a vampire through his blood. And he has been paying a lot of attention to Jacob, so this could possibly lead to Jacob being Dracula's real vessel, with a lot of setup being made for Dracula to pull the strings and manipulate everyone and everything in this world. I definitely want to see what's next, and I gotta say, the art has improved over time, which is really great to see. Really, I think that wraps up most of my thoughts on this volume. It was definitely a good read, and you should all check out Bloody Hell as soon as possible. Maybe some of you might not be the biggest fans of the art, but I gotta say, there is no empty space here, and the art style of Bloody Hell is definitely coming into its own. Now, I can't really say the same for manhwa that I've read, but we'll save that for another day. I'll definitely say that this is worth reading. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. I greatly appreciate you. Like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to show Bloody Hell some love and support. Finally, check out all of these videos that I'm recommending to you right now. If you liked this review, you're going to love everything else on this channel.